Sure, it's recording this time. Yeah, I don't even care if I have to edit this one. Okay, perfect. Okay, welcome in, guys, to episode 31 of Coffee and Chel. Just making sure that it's recording this time because unfortunately last week's episode died on YouTube and we weren't able to upload it to see our lovely faces. So we are back. Episode 30 was really a milestone, and that's a nice little segue into something we're going to talk about later, but a nice little milestone for us. We hit 30 episodes. Unfortunately, we don't get the video version of it, but 31. All right, we turned the page on 30. We're on to 31 now. 50 is our next big milestone, almost a year. Yeah, dude, let me know what you've been up to this last weekend.
Dude, I am learning I'm ill-equipped to be a grown man in the world.
Huh?
What I mean by that is I can provide for my family.
Sure,
Dealing with anything outside, whether it comes to, just like the lawn care and all that stuff, dude, it's so much work.
dude.
Um,
Bro, okay, hey,
I,
I gotta stop you here because this has
uh,
been me and my wife's battle ever since I kind of like somewhat made it on Twitch and YouTube. Like, I won't do a dish, but I'll go and try and make $500 so that I don't have to do the dish. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
I
I
get
would
that.
rather spend 5 hours and not do any sort of like very easy chore, even though I definitely should. So I am in complete agreement with you. I'm assuming you feel the same way I do, that you wish that you could do a little bit more.
Yeah, it's that stuff. And honestly, like growing up, I didn't learn it like, whenever it comes to like handy stuff, right?
Same.
Fixing things and all that, like I didn't have a dad, right? So like some of
Like,
that stuff, like I
right.
just dude, like I'm just gonna be honest, like I didn't learn like and I played a lot of video games growing up because like my grandmother was working a lot. So like all that stuff I just never learned. And trying to learn that at an older age, watching YouTube and stuff, like I've gotten better over the last like 5 years since my wife and I have been living together, but it's still hard and I just my brain isn't wired to think that way, right? So it's like rewiring my brain as an adult to learn that stuff and prioritize that stuff. So dude, it's just an uphill battle, you know?
Dude, so like I have like a same situation, man. I played video games my whole life, and then when you got to high school in Canada, it's like you have to make these like drastic choices in high school. Either you're gonna go into tech or you're gonna go into like shop. And like grade it happened, dude, it happens in grade 9. So you
Okay.
walk in and it's like, all right, you're gonna go to auto or you're gonna go to business. And like I chose business, and every tech class, every video editing class that I possibly could went like on like the old Mac, like pastel Macs. Like that's all I did. Very little like handy stuff, and it's definitely sucked as I got older, but I'm of the mindset that I would rather pay someone than learn it myself at this age.
Dude, it's just boring,
Yeah, like,
right?
I
It's
don't
just
find
like boring.
exactly. But, dude, one of my closest friends, though, literally flips houses as his hobby. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's kinda I use him as a like, I'm like, "Yeah, man, I need," like, something's broken or whatever, right? It kinda sucks that, don't do it myself, but I could care less. Like, I'd rather just pay, you know? But I feel you.
Yeah, that's what I would rather do too because it's like yeah, and like I realized, younger too, like I'm never going to be able to do these things like
Mhm.
so I went into accounting and finance, right?
Yep.
Like I'm just not I still have to
You'll
learn some things in case something like blows up and the handyman can't get here within 2
Yeah, the
hours, but
handyman no, the handyman's all about making jokes until it comes to tax time, and you're like, "Ah, let's go to work."
exactly.
Dude, speaking of taxes, I think I just found my accountant finally. Gah.
Uh, what do
Self-employed
you mean?
taxes is just well, dude,
Who's the accountant?
I mean, like, I had to call around
Yeah.
because so in Canada, taxes are actually due, like, April or May 1st, I believe, is the deadline, but self-employed, you have until June 15th. Last year, I went to, like, a friend of a friend, and this year I'm like it was, like, sketchy, but great job. I was worried, but, like, on the deadline day of June 15th, she, like, bam, everything was there, everything was done correctly. It was awesome. It sucked. Being self-employed, paying taxes is the worst because it's like you get all of your money up front, and then it's like, "Oh, you better save 20-30% of your toast come tax time," and I, like, didn't.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, because it's like it's the first it was probably your biggest
it
year
was my f
yet. You're
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, dude, I'm huge. It don't matter. This will keep
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
alright. Then it's, like, summertime, NHL's dead, and you're like, "Oh, here's a check for, like, I'm gonna need that, like, 10 grand, 15 grand real quick." Like, it's like, because like, I file with my wife too, right? So it's, like, hers included too,
yeah.
so, This year I wanted to find like an accountant, but the subathon has literally lasted like a month and a half. That like I thought it would end and then I would have time to do it, and now I'm like running out of time. So I'm like, all right. So I'm literally calling around, muted on stream, but I think I found someone. Apparently, I tried to explain what I do, and the guy starts laughing. He's like, "Well, we have a Twitch streamer as a client." I'm like, "Perfect, you're my accountant. Excellent."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go and meet with them on Monday, and then I go to a dark place and just figure out what the bill is. But yeah, self-employed is it's very like there's a lot to it. Like there is a lot to it to figure out what you can write off, when you can write it off. Like, do you stay unincorporated? Because like something that I've wondered is like, should I make an LLC? A lot of people are like, make yourself a company. But then if you do that, your company pays tax, and then you have to pay tax. The company just pays much less. But you
Mm.
would, as an employee of that company, would have to, like, you would pay yourself. I would still have to pay the normal tax rate. So it's like it's not as cut and dry as some other industries might be. But I'm excited
Well,
that
I
it's
was
going to be
thinking,
over.
so I saw somebody, one of the NHL content creators, had a tweet today. It was some, like how being a full-time content creator is like really difficult, like whatever. Like there's more detail, but I
Oh,
think,
there's okay. There's only okay. Yes. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, and it's nothing negative. I
Yeah.
always thought a good business, and I'm sure it's offered. But there should be specific, like, and it'd be like a self-employed somebody, um, financial experts for streamers or something, right? Specifically for that, it's a very niche requirement, or obviously, right? Because how many full-time content creators are there? But if there's somebody that fully understood the industry and what's best for each person, and maybe even if they offered services like
There's a
budgeting or like finding areas where they should probably live and stuff like that. I think that'd be a very niche business, but probably if you're just like a self-employed finance person, could be profitable,
dog. Did we
right?
just like stumble upon what you should be doing?
No,
That
probably
sounds
not
like a
because it's a lot of work.
self-employed. I mean, like
Yeah,
you would create. So okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, like, or everyone that files their taxes, I'm sure our audience is a little bit older, but like you set up the initial book, right? Like
y-
the template, and then that creator inputs. Like I feel like it'd be pretty simple, and you
it's
would have
very.
the
Here's
understanding.
the thing: it's very simple because anybody that that's good at like budgeting or whatever would know how to do it themselves.
Creators are not that.
Um,
I
I know,
guarantee you,
right?
like
But I'm
95%.
surprised, but I come from that like finance
Yeah.
first like aspect, right? But it's like, well, what's your lowest month's revenue? Like what are your bad months? That should probably be the max your max means that you're living within. But I think these people could also provide like services where, these specific areas are probably areas that you should move to. Maybe it's lower tax rates, maybe it's an area in Florida that has a low cost of living.
That's yeah.
Um, wipe away this, like get rid of your car, like take an Uber if you're down there, right? Like stuff
Hmm.
like that. Um,
Dude,
but
I think
I think that's
you would be good at
yeah,
that. Like I low key think that like I didn't even put two and two together, but like dude, like I feel like you could easily do that as like a side business, like a hustle.
maybe, dude. I feel like I have enough like,
I
and
know no
also,
no, but
by
I
the way,
okay. I mean
uh,
one that you could turn into
like a thing.
like a thing. Dude, I would pay you I'll be upfront. I would pay you $1,000 to do my taxes where I wouldn't have to think about it.
Yeah, I know. And so whenever I was in college, I think it was my junior year, I had a tax internship at like a CPA firm,
Yep.
and it was like just it was doing tax like personal taxes
Yeah.
for people, right? And I wanted to kill myself. I hated it. There were some interesting clients, like we had like somebody that worked in the NFL, but it's like doing the taxes for them. It's like, oh, the away games are taxed separately,
Oh,
wherever they played the away game, and it's a lot of work. And I think I don't have that
I
expertise. Like
guess
I'm more in like the company side, right? So like it's very difficult.
in
Maybe I
this
partner with a tax guy,
in
right?
yeah, like in the States, I guess it'd be far more difficult. I was blown away to realize how much the United States is sectioned off from it. So like I'll give you an example. In Canada, like obviously all the provinces have different laws and regulations and things like that. But for the majority, like there isn't a lot different province to province, and like federal on like a federal level, there's a lot of things that are just uniform across the board. Whereas like, dude, you pay like different taxes in like different counties and stuff.
Dude,
Mind
so
boggling.
I mean, it's topical, right? It's topical. I guess it's like kind of I don't know. I don't think it's bad to bring up, but like it's leaked that major law is being overturned right in the United States with like Roe
Yes.
v. Wade with the abortion thing.
Yep.
Um, that you would think is a basic human right in this country, even though only like probably 5% would be in favor of what they're doing.
Hmm.
It's going to apply all across the board, and then all of a sudden you're going to have 22 or 26 states that are changing this now, right? So like state to state, things are it's just crazy here.
It is,
It
yeah,
makes no sense to me.
like that's what I'm saying. So like even just like taxes alone, right? Like so for example, a lot of people in the industry like that are content creators move to Florida. Their internet infrastructure, which sounds dumb, but their internet infrastructure is amazing. Their cost of living is low in comparison to other warm states, and then uh in warmer states, and they have no taxes, like no state tax. Like those are all huge bonuses for creators. Like
Yeah.
especially ones that live in Canada. The only benefit in Canada is you get paid American, and you don't pay taxes twice because Canada and the U.S. have a tax treaty where you only pay tax once. If you pay tax in the U.S., you don't pay tax in Canada, and vice versa. So I don't know. I think that it's just it's crazy. I didn't realize like how different it was, right? So pretty crazy there. All right, I guess we talk about NHL. We got
Yeah.
the
So what's going on in NHL?
well, we're down. The draft happened, my man. You know,
Yes, it did.
the draft happened, and pretty interesting. So I got to do a video. I got to do a stream of the draft, which I thought was pretty cool. They let me just basically show all of the picks as they were going on. And this year it was 16 people, 16 players. Usually it's 8. When they get to the draft aspect, it's the 8. It's the final 8 players, and the player pool is very reduced. This year they did all 16, 4 separate consoles, so 4 on each console. It doesn't matter. Like the players will have this team all the way to Montreal. So
Yeah.
with 16 players, the player pool is like it dries up pretty quick. No one has a stacked team all the way through. It's very versus oriented, and it's very even, which is great. This is where it becomes a really good tournament in terms of just even across the board. And there's some individuality because people got to draft these teams, so like there's stories to it. Gren gets the 101 and takes McDavid, and then McKinnon next, and then I believe it was Crosby to uninstall. We saw Polgs get Polgs drafted second, and in the second round, Price made it all the way back. So Polgs, who is a favorite to win, got McKinnon and Price.
And he gets that patented or coveted post to
He gets
post, which is
post
going
to
to be nice.
post.
Yeah.
Dude, one thing I
That's,
want to focus on is like Junior Pence, a veteran, been in every single GWC. Did you see his team?
I have the draft list pulled up now, so I'm looking at his team.
You knew that Junior Penn's team was going to be ridiculous and very, just, in all intents and purposes, dumb because he is just way too hyper focused on like different things. Dude went completely against every single thing he's done in the history of playing this game. He went all, for the most part, small players that are fast. It's like he
Yeah.
watched your 2013 video about like the Sharks being the best team,
Yeah, right.
and he's like, "Oh, that's it." And
I'm looking at his team now. Yeah, like so Roman Yossi, Quinn Hughes on defense, TJ Brody, he's always small but quick. Kadri, I guess he doesn't count, but Gaudreau,
but
Max
even Kadri's only
Domi.
6 foot.
Yeah, he's not giant.
It's wild, and
Connor Sheary. I
I
like the Connor Sheary.
I believe 3 of his centers have Thief as well.
Okay.
So that would be another bonus for him there. Face-offs are pretty important in this. There isn't a lot of players that have a lot of face-off rating, I guess, even though I don't think at this level it is important because everyone knows the counters and things like that. But it'll
Yeah.
definitely be interesting. I believe the first night of the tournament is the 11th. No, 14th, sorry, next Saturday. It'll be interesting to see the matchups are, and because now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're finding out each console and who is going to go to Montreal. 2 of the 4 remaining on each console, and it's the first LAN championship since 2019. So definitely excited to see how that goes. I know you're looking at the team, Rick. Does any of the teams stand out to you?
Yeah, there was. Let me pull this back up.
Yeah.
I really liked where is he? Sorry, there's a team I was looking at and I was like, "Oh, okay, it figures." So Regs kind of looks like he was like, "I don't care about defense."
Yep.
And he might have the best forward group.
Yep.
So Kucherov, Patrick Kane, JT Miller, DeBrincat, Kevin Hayes, Brandon Saad, who always I think plays well in the game. Gren obviously has a good team, in my opinion. I think most of the teams are even,
Yeah,
right?
they're all pretty even.
With
Yeah.
just how it is.
Oh,
I
Crosby,
like.
I believe, took like best available. He went Marchand at one point pretty early. Jose is the only one who had to auto pick. He didn't like he took more than 2 minutes and he got Mark Stone, who
Oh, and
isn't.
that sucks because
Yeah,
he's the slowest player in the
yeah.
game.
It sucks. It sucks that Mark Stone is not really usable, but he is just real. So I guarantee you, he's gonna pot a hat trick or something every game. Something
I
hilarious is gonna work like that.
I like Sap's team a lot too because
Sap is a good
he
team, yeah.
picked the he picked the goalie I did last year, Aiden Hill, who I think is he might be the best goalie in this draft. That's not Price and Markstrom.
Got to meet him in real life. Nice
Um,
guy.
yeah, exactly. Just because of his height, right?
Yep.
He has speed on defense, but then he also has Tyler Myers. And then he has the Draisaitl pick that he got fifth overall. Kasperi Kapanen. So I don't know. It's exciting. Wish I could have been a part of it. I also wish that there was this like strategy, like team build stuff just in HUT already, where you could use
Yeah.
even teams like this. So yeah.
Dude, so I did a video fixing like HUT content. And I didn't think it would be as long as it was because HUT content for the most part has been half decent. I'm not talking about like the modes and how you acquire it. I'm talking about like just the cards themselves. Ended up being pretty long. Um just the main points of it were X Factor cards. I think there
Mhm.
should only be about 20 of them, and they should be the elite of the elite. And I think that to try and make them sought after all year round. Whenever they get a new card and it has a different X Factor ability or superstar ability, it now becomes a choice. So Austin Matthews, he has shock and awe. That was a really bad ability in terms of like gameplay, really. Unless you're like but it made sense, right? It makes
Yeah.
sense. But at some point, if he got like gold 1T and you'd rather have that, you can hit square on the shock and awe, and it would change. You could change it to whatever the other options were. I think that would really add a lot of longevity to it. I think another really good option: get rid of prime times. Just completely get them out of the game. There's so many; it's so redundant. No one really cares about any. The only reason prime times are important, especially with 4 consoles, but is because it's like, oh, did my card upgrade? Did I unlock that new
Yeah.
tier? That was it. So I'd like to see moments, whereas like maybe 2 maybe cards or 1 card a night gets a banner that has like the moments stuff that explains why he's got a moments card. That'd be huge. But I think that team builder should expand and you have to collect every card. Like what
Yeah.
it was early on in I think NHL 18, where Chris Neal cost like 90,000 coins because it was hard to get that Wade Redden. But like I'm okay with that if your cards aren't taken away. They just become untradeable.
Yeah.
So, example I use it should be tiered a lot like MLB. Let's use the Edmonton Oilers for example. You got to collect Leon and McDavid. McDavid at launch is gonna be like 200,000 coins. Okay, so the reward should be like a 91 Mark Messier, but you don't lose your Connor McDavid base card.
Yeah, you can still keep them
Exactly.
untradeable. Can't get anything for it, kind of
Exactly.
how MLB collections works.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's exactly it, right? And then that would
yeah,
make cards much more valuable throughout the whole year. Like so, in to balance that out, like let's say Mark Messier is a 91 or a 92. If you collect all the Edmonton Oilers, let's say the Seattle Kraken, you collect all the Seattle Kraken, much lower ratings. Like I think the highest probably be Jared McCann, and he's gonna be like an 84 or 83 maybe. You collect
mhm,
the entire Seattle Kraken, you get an 85 overall to Mark Giordano.
yeah,
Like that, you know what I mean? It should be tiered like that. Then you collect all of the Western Conference and you get the Wayne Gretzky. You collect all the Eastern Conference, you get Mario Lemieux at 99, and it can happen day one.
yeah. I mean,
I
I like that. I like that. The one thing I liked about what you said was making the X Factor pool smaller.
mhm.
Um, and I was talking to somebody about this recently, and I think that I think X Factors you should be able to get the cards right, but I think at the beginning of the year, my idea for this was like you can choose any of the X Factor cards that you want. Maybe get like 1 or 2 of them, and they can upgrade to the max right away. But instead of them being upgraded through like X Factor collectibles or purchasing with coins, they're only upgradable through playing with that player type or
I think
that
they
player
all should
card,
be like
right?
that. I think it should
Yeah.
be. I think there should be an option to pay because I do think you allowing people to pay. A big misconception is that people are pay to win, but I think that what a lot of people don't realize is that like a lot of people don't have 10 hours to grind with the card. Allowing people that value money or time over money. I value time over money. Like even outside, let's pretend I wasn't a content
Yeah, yeah,
creator.
I do too. Yeah.
I would rather pay than play 7 hours to get a free card, right? I also appreciate while giving the option to get the free card is huge because people don't have access to expendable money, especially kids, right? They don't. So giving the option to do that, that would be huge. I think that all of the cards should have that, where like you
Yeah.
can upgrade via scoring with them, or and that gives you a reduced cost, or you can do it the same way that it's been done. I think either of those options would be good. But yeah, I think that you need to reduce the player pool by a ton. The other thing I would love to see is if a card gets, I think that they should remove or alter team of the week. Team of the week needs to stay in there in the way that it is because of squad battles and like you have that weekly whatever. I think that it should be 6 players from each league. So
Mm.
6 players from the NHL. So they're 6 like banger like guys that had amazing runs at each position. Then have one for the EU leagues, like where it's like the 6 best players from all the EU leagues. One from the CHL, like the OHL, WHL, and whatever, and then one from the AHL. That would give you your 4 lines. Okay. And then at the end of the month, you've got a Stars of the Month card. And that Star of the Month card, let's say it's Chris Kreider, gets an X Factor card. And
Okay.
now for
So
the
they can add
remainder
those
of the
throughout the
year,
year.
he's got because that's what's the issue was that Chris Kreider was more of an X Factor than Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, I
You know
know.
what I mean? Like Goudreau had a 100-point season, not an X Factor. Like
Yeah.
the X Factors should be able to come out throughout the year because it's going to make it a lot more. And I think that like every month have one or maybe even 2 become available would be huge. I think that would definitely freshen up content. I think that would be a really good way to kind of help that out.
Part of my part of me thinking that they should just be easily gotten. Um and obviously a lot of people would have them if there was like a path like through playing to get them to 99. I think there should only be like a max of 3 on a team at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think it. I don't think you necessarily need to like even go that far. But I see what you're saying, like Tampa.
Yeah. I mean no, I mean a max on your HUT
Oh, on
team,
your
right?
HUT team, you can only use
Yeah,
3.
yeah. Yeah.
I think that the issue I have with that is that there needs to be a main mode, like Rivals needs to allow any card.
Okay.
I
Fair
think
enough.
that because like you know what I mean, like if someone goes all out, grinds the game, but can only use 3, the same
Yeah,
3 are
yeah,
going to
you're
be
right.
used no matter what.
You're right.
So I think that like Rivals needs to be all out, whatever sort of squad battles. But I think for HUT champs, the HUT champs should have an overall cap, like not like
I
a
think it
hard
should
cap.
be yeah, I think it should be brackets. I don't think it should be like an overall cap. It
Yeah,
should be like,
89 overall
3
team.
I was thinking like 3 people in the 90 to the 95 range.
Oh, okay.
6 players in like 85 to 89 and then the rest of your team can just be filled out.
I think that's
Um
constrictive though, because a lot of people might not have that certain tier. I'm thinking launch of the game, right? 80.
no, it can be, edited
Yeah,
throughout, but like
I
I
think just
still
like the
think whenever you're
overall.
late in the whenever yeah, but here's the thing, you can just circumvent that with the
Not
like
necessarily, bro.
with
You
a
make it 87 and you don't include the backup goaltender. Like you can take. I'm sure that EA can take that out of the equation. Like you're
it
not.
doesn't work with the gameplay. I'm telling you because you would still have your third pairing defense that's never out there,
I
right?
guess that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
you can have bronze overall defensemen and they're out there for 1 minute a game. Like,
I guess that's true. I guess that's true. I think that it would. It
yeah,
wouldn't be as. It would still be better than what we've got.
it would be better than what we have, but it'd just be like circumvention because you'd have two. Because they used to have that like salary cap type thing in HUT, and people would just load up on their first 2 lines with like 99
I mean,
players.
that's what they should. I mean, okay, I see what you're saying though. So
Yeah,
to get around that as well.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And
All right.
it mimics and I think the thing is like they can use those same restrictions because they're in the game in GWC qualifiers because it's only in HUT champs and then that'll replicate it in HUT champs.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody complaining late in the year that it's a
They don't have a
cash
team.
grab
Mhm.
and it's like pay to win because it's like everybody's on the even playing field.
Yeah, I agree. That would be huge. Definitely enjoy that. All right, what else do we want to talk about?
Was there an event or something?
Oh, a
Like,
leaked event. So usually it's just the playoffs all year or summer long until the playoffs are over, which sucks. It kind of like signifies like the end.
yeah.
Randomly today we got an announcement that we're getting a milestone event. Patrick Marlowe's master set was really announced that for the most games played. Really cool card art, and I'm glad they're still doing events.
Yeah,
You know,
that's good.
I think that's cool. I think this one is a cool event. We'll see. I hope it's a lot of alumni. I would like to see like a lot of an alumni for an event. But yeah, and I think I really hope that the master set selection just gets better next year. I have a feeling that
I
there's
hope there's like less, like I don't know less, but like going from this to MLB, dude, there's so many cards in NHL that
there's
it's like,
so many, bro. It's not even close. The NHL releases, I would say, 8 times more content than MLB. But how much throughout the year? How much content that's released after all of the base stuff that's that's at launch of the game? Do you think is usable for someone that plays the game all year round?
um, for me, it was 1 to less than 1%. For somebody that plays year round that isn't the type of player that I am, probably 3 to 5%. Do you think that's fair?
I think it might be a little bit higher because every master set item. But I mean, I guess that
Yeah,
would
but
I guess that'd be
dude,
like
there were
eights.
times where like 6 master sets came out, and I'm like, all of these I wouldn't even use on my fourth line,
I guess that's
just
true.
because like I didn't like the player build or
And
something,
then
right?
all of the event cards, there's probably like one that's like, you know,
There was that Peter Forsberg that came out with gold quick
yeah,
draw
I
that
remember
was like,
that.
oh, this card's cool.
Yeah. But
Um,
other than that, yeah, like there just hasn't been anything.
all of the event cards that aren't MSPs usually aren't good.
Except for the launch of the game and like the first 2 months, maybe or like month, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
like they're just not like it's just it'll be interesting to see what they do with content. I think that
yeah, I have high hopes for the people that are there, and them having like a year under their belt, having a full year going forward. I think it'll be an improvement. I don't know, will it be night and day? I don't know.
until there's a cross market, like the market is what is absolutely demolished because of the 4 consoles
Yeah,
because there's no cards available. So you like I joked around with Hawk. I joked around with Hawk today because that Marlowe's coming out. I'm like, all right, let me see what a Sharks theme team would look like. And it's funny because everyone's like, ah, dude, the Sharks got like 5 master items, sweet. But the rest of their cards, there's like nobody. And I don't,
okay,
and that makes sense because the Sharks weren't very good at all, right? But I was like, all right, like let's go see what does a Team Meyer team of the season cost. I'm on PS5, mind you. I'm not even on the dead console like on Xbox. Dude, none up. I go and look at Mark-Edward Vlasic and his social showdown card because he would be on my theme team. None up. I go to Hawk. I'm like, dude, I will trade in my first line of 99 McDavid, Matthews, and McKinnon. I will quick sell them live on stream if you go and get me a list of like the crappy Sharks cards that are just not obtainable. But like
yeah,
I have that ability because of like, I'm a creator, right? And obviously, I'm not someone who'd be like, oh, I'm going to need all those cards, please. Like I said, I would on stream delete the 3 most expensive cards in the game to acquire that. But people don't have that option. So if
yep,
you wanted to make a Sharks team, you're just a SOL. Like you're never going to find the card on the market, right? So,
yeah.
yeah, like I don't know. I cross market be huge. FIFA just announced their playtest will have cross console in it.
Is that for the playtest for 23? I thought they were putting that in 22.
Maybe I'm wrong and read it wrong. I just know it's a play test.
Okay.
You're able to play test FIFA's cross console. So NHL always gets the features last, but I would be blown away if I'm assuming EA Sports made a gigantic push to all of its developers that every sports game, and not just sports game, every game needs to be cross console.
Yeah,
And
it should be the norm now. Yeah.
yeah, especially because MLB did it. And MLB's taking it on the chin right now. I'm not gonna lie. As a casual, it's so funny, bro. Seeing a game through a casual, not a casual but non-competitive player. I have very little complaints because I don't know the game at its finest level of what it should
Yeah.
be. right? I'm like, oh, I missed this hit because I suck, right? Where, man, dude, the top content creators and the people that are really down on this game, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, it kind of makes sense. Like, they seem to be in a year where they lowered overalls. Okay, so
Okay.
last year you didn't play, but the face of the franchise program that came out.
That was the first one,
Yeah,
right?
there was every team
Yeah.
had a 90 overall card. Okay, that you could acquire. You could only get 12 of them for free, but then you could get any card you want by buying them. Last year, Team Affinity was, I think it was like 91s or maybe 92s. I don't remember, but like you could get every single card for free by grinding out the Team Affinity. But even worse was the Star of the Month card was a Byron Buxton. They have a Lightning card where it's like the Player of the Month. He was a 96 overall Byron Buxton. This year, 91 or 92 Rizzo. And the
Yeah.
overalls are so much lower. And I think that in the All-Star game last year, I remember this specifically. Team Affinity 2 came out, all the All-Star cards, it was like 97 to 99s. And for every team. And it was like,
Yeah.
that's a little much. And then you're at 99 for the entire game from that point on, halfway through the season. And I can see the downfall to that. The plus is that, oh my God, everyone has access to these great teams, right? The
Yeah.
downfall is that, like, now they can't release content unless it's like a 99. And that's like lame, I guess. So this year's like a transition year. They're like making things worse in the aspect of the consumer, but for the overall game, I think it's better.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah,
it will be
I wanted
better.
to ask you about that because I'm glad you brought it up because I read like, random things and I see a lot of the like I get like you would say top players
Mhm.
on MLB saying the game sucks, like
Mhm.
oh, it's all random and stuff, and then also complaining about the content. I haven't played that much. I play here and there, and whenever I play, I enjoy it because I'm playing it from like the lowest level,
Yeah.
you know?
And
And
I'm
it's
I'm
really
blown
fun.
away because I know what's on the other side from EA. Like,
Yeah,
I compare everything because I'm playing both, and I'll take all the problems with MLB. I'll take them
I will
all.
too.
Like, I'll take
Dude,
them
and
all.
it's so much fun,
It is,
right?
man.
Like I was trying to think because I was doing is it showdown mode
Yep.
where you like
It's hard,
where
but yeah.
you, is that the one where you like have to do like the
You
mini
draft a
moments and then
team,
you
and then, yep.
face off against the boss?
Yep.
So here's how I think it would work in NHL. Are you ready for
Lay
this?
it on me, dude.
They already have practice mode in the game, right?
Yeah.
So those act as the moments.
Okay.
So you have like the final boss would be Carey Price,
Okay.
okay? But one of the moments is like Connor McDavid scoring on him.
Mm-hmm.
So all they got to do is you take a 2-on-1 and you have 10 attempts and you have to score 5 of them. 2-on-1 against with like Leon Draisaitl against Carey
Huh.
Price or something, right? And they have the moments. Maybe it's like defending like a 3-on-2 or something, or not allowing a shot. But the practice mode is already in the game, so you can have those moments in there with practice mode. It's just reframing it a little bit.
It'd be
Or maybe
over
you have a
really
power
quick.
play. Maybe you have a power play, maybe you have
Yeah.
something else. Like there's other things, and it wouldn't be over quick because I think you'd have a set amount, right? So like you have like 10 attempts or 15 attempts. You just frame it that way.
That would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That would be pretty sick. I would love just moments. Like, I would love player locked moments. We
Yeah, no,
have
of
Be a
course, that'd be
Pro.
great.
Just player
Yeah.
lock a moment, and like Austin Matthews scoring 4 goals in his debut game. Have the Leafs against the Ottawa Senators. You don't have to, you don't have to put like specific rosters or like that. Maybe put the
Yeah, no,
jerseys
and you don't
on.
even have to score the 4 goals because in MLB it's just like score a goal with him, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It makes it a little bit easier, right? It's like score the fourth goal, and then you're in the third period, and maybe it's on rookie, and like that's just like a starting one, right? And
Mhm.
then if you get it, it's over. And if you don't get it, it restarts. You can restart immediately. But that would be pretty sweet. Like, I just don't. I think that requires a lot of resources. I would love a year dedicated to just moments, like
Yeah.
adding the ability to put moments in, like coding in, so that they could then implement moments throughout the year. I would take that just for over any offline content you possibly could come up with. Squad battles, I don't care. Like,
Mhm.
if nothing changes but the moments happened, I wouldn't even be that. I would like that would be more offline content than like anything.
Yeah.
And you could give specific rewards to it. Like, it just would be. It'd be. I think it's the one way NHL has not been played. Like,
Not since the 2 generations ago where they had like the
the moments in 15, I think.
pre-created like 25 of them. They had like
Yep.
25 or 30 moments, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that like you player lock a guy and you play a Be a Pro style game. Maybe you got to come off the bench. You know, like maybe you got to go on the bench and it simulates the time. Give me that. Like I always use Sam Gagne's 8 points in a game as an example.
Yeah.
Like you're Sam Gagne, if you're on the Oilers and you got to score 8 points, like give me that. That'd be so sick. But alas.
I was proud of myself a few days ago because I was playing BR mode.
Okay.
And I got up to 4 or 5 wins, and I was like, that's great. I haven't gotten that high yet because I usually I went through a period where I lost like 10 to 15 games in a row. Just because I never played a baseball game, and I'm not used to playing. And I'm enjoying the fact that I'm having fun, and I'm bad at it because I usually don't do that. Like whenever I'm bad at something, unless I'm like extremely passionate about it, I'm like, this sucks. I'm not doing it. But I'm bad at this, and I'm trying to get better.
I am in the middle ground. Because when I lose to players I know I should beat, I get really frustrated. But the problem is, in NHL, you can play when you're not patient. Like you can play when you're impatient and still win. You know what I mean? You can chase, but you can when you are impatient and down bad in MLB, you have to log off for the night. And because I can't, there's been times where like I'll chase every pitch out of the zone, even when I'm saying, we'll take a few pitches here. I'm like, nah, this one's going to dead left. Like you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. This guy can throw it into the dirt, and I'm gonna try and send it to outer space. Like so, but yeah, like it's so I like that aspect because you're trying to get better at it for sure. I think that's really fun.
Dude, I don't get how people are so good at reading pitches. Like there's and these people are like shitty too compared to like probably the people that you're playing, but I'm still like how are they hitting like everything, and how do they know like if I do one pitch in the zone it's like a home run?
So
you know,
when I play ranked now, something that I think I do well and something I enjoy about it is that for the first inning or two, I legitimately will just take the 2 strikes and see as many pitches as I possibly can. And what I'll try and pay attention to is the first pitch they do on 2 strikes, and if it happens again in multiple at bats, because I know at some point that pitch is coming, regardless of when it is in the count. And when I'm playing someone good, I just beat someone who was like 18-2. I beat Cougs, one of the best players, like like on in the game over the last like few years. I literally played him in the G Fuel tournament, and I was like, okay, he gave me a pitch sinker at my feet, which I would have no shot of just like trying to react to hit. I would never. So the entire at bat, he could have struck me out by throwing right down the middle, and I would have looked like an idiot. But he gave me a sinker at my feet, and I was able to smash it out because you can just sit like that. And I like the thought aspect of that. Like, because then you play people that are really good at pitching and not just locating their pitches, but like the methodology. For example, like what I'll do when I'm on and I'm doing well at pitching, I'll look at if someone is not swinging at a strike, I know that they're sitting a pitch. Like they are looking for something, and I just won't give it to them. Like if someone is sitting a fastball for Aroldis Chapman, I will go 8 pitches in a row throwing a splitter or a slider because I know that he is just sitting that one pitch. And there's times where I will literally streaming and I'll be in a game and I'll be like, I'm not going to strike this guy. I got to give him this pitch. And it's a home run. Like, I've done it on stream where I'm like, I got to throw this fastball or I'm not going to strike him out. I'm going to throw it. And I throw it, and it's immediately gone. And I'm just like, oh, my God. And that's what makes players good. There's a very, very good strategy. And I don't think people realize the amount of strategy. Because I think there's very few people in the world that can play this game, like on Hall of Fame or Legend, and fully react. Like, not sit a pitch or certain pitches.
It's insane, and it's weird because like I like sometimes playing like the bad players I'm playing against, like I know like, oh, this is gonna be there, and like I just don't have the muscle memory or like the reflexes with my thumb in that action to react correctly. And that's my biggest frustration is like mentally I know what to do. I'm just not used to doing it yet.
Yeah, huge. Like there's a big disconnect to getting in your hand to work the way that your brain wants you to, especially when it's like trying to lay off pitches. Like the slider away, bro. Like it'll just eat me up every time, no matter what. It's brutal.
Yep.
You watched any of the playoffs yet?
Dude. So besides the Penguins, I try to watch the highlights. Like there's like the goals that are posted on Reddit and stuff.
You should watch my top 5 goals of the night. I'm actually doing it in the morning. It's actually gone pretty well. I take the top 5
check
goals.
that out. That's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on the old tube.
Every morning I do it.
That Penguins game was so stressful.
I can only imagine, bro. I miss being in that as a fan. Like 3 overtime games you're mentally exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah, I am extremely relieved they won. I was following along, so Nip and Biscuits went to the game, right?
Dude,
And
he made me want the Raiders to lose so badly.
I was so hoping they would lose, not because I'm a Penguins fan, just so he would be like First off, he posted these videos, okay, of
Yeah.
him like talking about the game, and like I've been to over 100 Penguins games. I've never been to a game where it's like pitch black. So wherever he was, like I don't know if he was literally on the roof of the
No,
arena, but it's like pitch black in MSG.
MSG is poorly lit, I think, just as a whole. Like
Okay.
when you look at the building, I think the roof is like brown or something. Like I've never been to MSG, but I know like just like the aspect of how the building looks inside.
Yeah.
And it has the same thing that the Leafs do. So I don't know if it was built for hockey. I don't know that, again, as Rangers fans, I
It must not
apologize.
have been.
Yeah, but if you look, I can tell you from the Maple Leafs perspective, on one of the sides of the arena, it was not built for the Leafs, it was built for the Raptors. There's the press box and the seats go up behind it. So you can see down on the ice, but you can't see directly across the arena.
Mm.
So that's like the cheapest the seats in the house for the Leafs game. It's like what all the normies can go to. Like that's where you sit really at a Leafs game. It looked like, because one of his videos, it showed like the press box. I could see the back of the press box, and then I could see down below. And I was like, okay, like so that's why he was so darkly lit.
Dude, I was thinking about is whenever they won, I was like, how miserable is that like subway ride or whatever with all those sweaty Rangers fans
Could you
just, with their
imagine?
thick accents, like, it should have been a goal. I don't know how they talk, but like, there's a goal and it got waved off.
You
Like they were
should,
so mad.
dude. Like imagine sitting through that, because like you're just when you're at a game, playoff game. I don't know if you've ever been to a playoff game. I've been to
Yeah,
a.
and I think I'm gonna go on Monday as well with Nippin and David.
Oh, that's sick. All
Yeah.
right, that's dope. I've been to like a Leafs playoff games, multiple Saber playoff games, showing my age a little bit here. And it's the atmosphere is nuts. So I can't even imagine like triple overtime just sitting there like, because like you want the experience, like that's what's on the line. Being able to say I was at a triple overtime game when the Rangers won, and like dude, like there's nothing quite like an arena in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the Leafs games just because I am a Leafs fan to an extent. Like I grew up a Leafs fan, and I
Okay.
really want to see my dad see a cup again in his lifetime. But since the Sharks are out, I have no really horse in the race. Watching that from an outsider segment, so not really down and out if they lose, but like I like seeing them win. Pretty balanced series so far, but man, like it's been pretty good, man. I don't know if I've been this excited for playoff hockey in quite some time, and I'm wondering if it's because of COVID and like the
I think
fan.
it's that it's been like the first like full regular
Mhm.
regular season, right? And it's kind of nice that it's going. I know it's like later, but it's like it's nice. You have like this full summer of playoff hockey,
Yeah, and
right?
I think the experience watching it on TV too, like no
Yeah.
fans, even on TV was rough. Like
Dude, it was weird, especially that first like that bubble.
yeah,
It was the strangest thing.
yeah. So
Um,
I've really enjoyed that, like the Full House.
I can't. So I'm a pretty neutral like Penguins fan. Like I love the Penguins, but like I'm not. I don't hate teams.
Yeah.
But there are teams I'll root against, and it's only because of the fans. And like the Leafs are always one of them.
Mhm.
So like you mentioned like your dad, and like I think that'd be great if the Leafs won. For people like that, it's just like my bubble's small. So whenever I go on Twitter and I see like them declaring that the Leafs are gonna win the cup after like game one, it's like, oh, I hope they lose now.
I want to. Okay, I pride myself on being an unbiased sports fan.
Yeah,
I
me too.
really
I do
like.
too.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Like so, I like to have realistic conversations about a team. I'll use the Rangers as an example. People flamed me because I said that they were carried to the playoffs by Shesterkin. I mean, if
And
game
I think that was a fact.
yeah, if game one was not a microcosm of that, like he had to make 80 saves and the Rangers couldn't beat Louis Domingue. So, like not that they're a bad team. I think that the Rangers will be the best team in the Eastern Conference in like if Capo, Caco, and Lafreniere become legitimately top six forwards, as well as some of their other players as well. But I think they'll be a really really good team in the Eastern Conference. Just not yet. I think they were early. Shesterkin's going to be the best goaltender in the NHL. Just give it a season or two.
Mhm.
That being said, Leafs fans, here's how I view Leafs fans because I've grown up around them my whole life. Uh, I will say they're infuriating when they are doing well because it's plan the parade. Like they could win a random game on a Tuesday in December, plan the parade. The reason why I
Mhm.
don't think they are the worst fan base, if you are not a fan of the Leafs, is because when they lose, dude, they go off of the edge. Like it could be a preseason L in August, and it's Marner needs to go.
Yeah.
You got to trade Tavares. Nylander's washed. It's wild. So while I think that it's awful when they're winning, it's hilarious when they're losing.
Yeah,
So
it is, and it's always an overreaction,
100%.
especially
It's
with like the Fire, like
highs
their
and lows.
GM stuff, because like they've built such a good team there, and I always think it's an overreaction because I think they have a legitimate chance to win the Stanley Cup, and they're an amazing team. And if they don't, right? Because like let's say the extreme happens and they lose to Tampa in like 6 or 7 games, I don't think it means that the GM should be fired or the coach or whatever. It's just they went up against a team that just won 2 cups in a row and they lost to an amazing team in a league that's hard to win the Stanley Cup.
I say this a lot. Hockey requires more luck than any other sport to win its championship. Just how
Yeah.
the game is played. Like you have a shot that's 100 miles an hour. If it doesn't tip off a stick, off a shin pad, and in the net, like that happens throughout every run. But you make your own luck to an extent. The Leafs, the Montreal thing is brutal, losing to Montreal last year. However, had Tavares not had that freak injury, it's probably over in 4.
Yeah.
And then every other year, other than that, because of the playoff format, dude, they're going up against 100-point teams in the first round. Teams that would probably make it to the conference final in the West because the West is so weak now. So it's just bad timing. I've said this as a Sharks fan throughout 15 years of them making the playoffs, and they weren't chokers in the sense that they couldn't get out of the first round. It was always the second or third round, or even the finals. When it was the Sharks, but every year it was like, dude, you got to get rid of Marlowe and Thornton, or Brent Burns. Like they got to move. It's like you can't because you will lose any deal you make. And Moneyball said it, like Billy Bean said it best, man. GM's job is to get them to the playoffs, set them up success to make it to the playoffs. Once you're in there, let fate be fate. And obviously you can give your team better advantage in the playoffs for sure. But really, like, it's such a brutal sport to try and navigate luck and go on those magical runs. I'll say this, another good example to back that up. If the Boston Bruins lose that Game 7 against Vancouver, how different do people view the Boston Bruins?
Oh, 100%. Like
It's wild.
And people never think about that
No.
context just because it's like if the, Washington Capitals were probably the best team in the league for 3 or 4 times before they actually won the cup. It just sucks that the years that they went up against some
Crosby.
amazing Penguins teams, like, and that happens a lot. Or they run into I think it was the one year's Yaroslav Halak, that it went 7 games, who just so happened to have one of the best playoff series of all time. And then that goalie, that Canadiens team eliminated the Penguins next, right? So it happens a lot, and people never just think about it that way.
Yeah,
but I think Boston's the best example because they won Game 7, what, 1-0 or 2-0?
I believe it was very, very low. Yeah, and like if they don't win that, bro, like they are not viewed as a success over. Dude, the worst is the Blues, because I always use this as an example too. Is like the Blues were a miserable team from like 2004 on, like miserable. They had a few playoff runs, but their runs were usually over in the first round, and then the majority of the time they didn't make the playoffs. If they don't win that cup, like everyone just forgets about it, and they should be. They won a championship, right? It's tough though. I saw the Sharks make the playoffs 15 straight years, and it's like I got a lot of memories, but I would probably trade like that's a good debate. Like, would you take the Blues 1 cup in 15 years over 15 years of like lengthy good hockey? And obviously everyone's going to say the championship. But I don't. I'm in.
I don't think you do. I think the only time that you say that is if like you're actually an employee on the team and you're like the GM. Obviously, as the GM, you take the championship. But you got you got years of like Joe Thornton in his prime, like Patrick Marleau, like amazing teams.
It's tough because I'm in year 3 of them not making the playoffs, and I'm not used to this, and they are going to be bad. And dude, I can't describe how much I hate not seeing a playoff game. Just seeing a first round, I would trade a lot for, and it's wild. Like, but is what it is, and we'll see how the playoffs shake out. I think that Leaf series, man, like going back to the original thing I was saying about fan bases, though, like Leafs, very high and low. Montreal Canadiens does not matter. They are so proud of their team that when they lose,
Yeah.
it is everyone else's fault. And when they win, they're the best team. Like, it's way more infuriating. And the Rangers are that, even worse to an extent. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the city they're from, and it's very like a very higher class. I don't know what it is.
I wouldn't say higher class because when I think of the Rangers fans, I think families like Nippins, like that blue collar, like they like hockey. They didn't grow up playing hockey, and it's something in their blood that they're like Rangers fans, right?
Maybe, yeah,
Like
maybe.
you know,
I don't know. Like it's just like there's just something about it on social media. I don't know why, and I would have never known had I not been like on social media as my job, because like
yeah,
in Canada, no one cares about the Rangers. Like they're in the news because every player wants to sign there in free agency. But other than that, like you don't hear about them in Canada. It's literally the Leafs and the Canadians, and then we'll sprinkle in the Western Coast teams every once in a while. But
yeah.
uh,
Oh, and just to clarify, the family like Nippin, not a negative thing. I not like I come from a great family, so I think there's a great thing about the blue collar fan bases in the United States. Like you have Philadelphia like that, dude, where those people
dude,
weren't playing hockey growing up, but like no matter what, like they love their team.
dude,
They'll throw batteries at Santa Claus, but like
yo,
they love their team.
Philly fans are a different breed for every sport.
Yeah. We have our last. Want to do our last
Let's do our
thing
top
before we
five.
wrap
Yeah,
up?
before
Top
it gets the game
five.
set.
We have this week. We have top 5 pet peeves.
Yep.
So who's starting?
You started last time. I'll go first this time. I actually
All
have
right.
6, and I'm really trying to decide what are the 5. But I'm gonna go with this is a gym one. I cannot stand when someone has too many free weights or a machine that they're excessively using where I can't work out. Which is why I have to like go to the biggest gym in my city because I've gone to all like the niche or smaller like hard gyms. They don't have a lot of stuff. And the second that there's like a couple people in there, cannot stand it. Drives me up the wall. I'll just leave. I'll straight up just leave. So that is my one. The excessive equipment use in the gym.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, well, I'm a lazy piece of shit, so I don't have a gym one.
Fair?
My first one, people that always say music was better X amount of years ago. People are always like, "Oh, I wish I grew up in the '80s because music was good back then."
Okay.
I am of the opinion that there's a lot of great music out. You just have to try a little bit harder these days to discover it.
Dude, we did a top 5, and our top 5 was all over the range of
Yeah,
genres.
yeah,
Like I agree with you 100%. Like I think there's great music in the 80s and 70s and 90s and great music today. So
yeah,
I agree.
exactly.
Um speed limit drivers or literally anyone that is impeding me driving freely to the destination I need to get to.
Now, speed limit is that people that drive exactly the speed limit?
Yes, I'm saying that if I have a place to get to, like
Hmm.
I got to go to a destination. If you impede me from going the speed at which I want to in the comfortable manner that I want to do it in, I lose my damn mind. So usually I'll say speed limit drivers because usually it's people doing the speed limit, but I'm talking like someone that it's a 2-lane street and they're just blocking, like, you know what I mean? Like I just can't get out of
Yeah,
the
and
way
they're
of
going like the same speed. Like get
Yeah.
like somebody. There should be a fast lane,
Yep.
and then there's like the speed limit lane. I
Yep.
agree with that. I'm usually somebody that drives a speed limit or just 5 over.
Mhm.
I don't want to be that idiot that gets into an accident and then the highway's backed up
Mhm.
because I don't want to be that guy.
Yep. No, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. All right, my next one, a very specific one, especially so this is coming from somebody that has always hated it, but now that the fact that I'm having a daughter, I hate it even more. People that have shirts on their little girls, like the babies or toddlers, it says like "Daddy says I'm not allowed to date anybody" or stuff like that. Those random shirts that sexualize little kids, I can't stand, and I think it needs to
Huh.
stop. Because like sometimes it comes from a point of innocence, but I just think it's a really weird shirt and it shouldn't even be a thing. So that is my pet peeve.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know if you agree with that. I think it's weird.
Very
It's like Daddy's
specific.
Little Princess or like,
Doesn't
or
bother
no.
me because I'm not like a dad. I could see why it would.
Oh, I've always hated it.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
I've always hated it. I think it's weird.
I've been ignorant to the topic, I guess would be the way to
Okay.
describe it.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what number one is going to be. I have ridiculously biased sports fans down. That drives me up the wall more than anything, but I won't include that. So, not getting 10 minutes to myself when I come home. No, I don't know what it is. I don't know if this is because my old man did this for 20 years and I never realized it. If I come into whatever home I lived at when I lived with my wife's family, when I live here, if I walk in, it could be from, and it's different here because like I work from home, right?
Mhm.
But even when I'm done streaming, I go upstairs and I immediately have to do something. Or, like Sky's like, we got to go there or whatever. I can't sit down and just lay down and do nothing. I hate it. Like, I absolutely hate it. I used to come home and I used to be like, Scott, I'm like, you got to give me 20 minutes. And I
Yeah.
don't do anything specific. Usually it's just I sit on the couch or I go on my phone or I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I need to like chill to the point where I'm like, all right, let's go. Now I'm okay. I hate that immediately coming home and having to do something.
Yeah, that does suck.
Mhm.
I do agree with that. It wasn't a pet peeve of mine, but I like having about 20 minutes to poop in the morning. I think that's a necessity.
Okay.
And anytime you have to wake up and go somewhere, it sucks.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Um, all right, my next one is people that are always doing lawn work or cutting the grass. Living in the suburbs, dude, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is in the summer. There's always a lawnmower or something going on, and I'm always thinking like, do these people not work? I'm trying to take a nap. Can you not do this all the time? Like, dude, my neighbor, he cuts the grass like twice a week. Like, your grass isn't growing like that, you know?
No, I can okay, I can appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I don't know. I guess it doesn't bother me because I like uh, I view a cut lawn as like making the bed for your house. Like if
Okay.
you have an entirely clean house, but your bed's not made, everything's ruined. It's not clean. It's a mess.
Hmm.
So I view like the same thing. If you everything is dressed up on your house outside, but your lawn's not cut, like it just ruins everything. So I would rather that than someone who doesn't.
Okay.
I
Fair
guess.
enough. Well, I guess I'm always somebody that's late on it,
Okay,
so
fair enough. Okay, maybe yeah, maybe you're the one that's always late on it. Fair enough.
I am.
Um, how many was that? That was 4 for you.
3.
Okay, so we got 2 more. Being woken up by a yell. So I'm talking like
Ah!
so Scott comes in and be like, we forgot to take the garbage out. 7 in the morning. Instead of opening the door, be like, hey, we gotta go take the garbage out. We come in and be like, we forgot to take the garbage out. We gotta get up. We gotta go do it. Like I will lose my shit.
Yeah.
I used to like even like my mom used to be. I don't know why my mom used to be so like comforting when she used to wake me up for school. But my dad would like bang the door and be like, get the fuck up now. Like you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like he would lose his
Yeah.
mind, and maybe I like internally like hate it so much. But yeah, like or like if my cat jumps on my sternum and my cat wakes me up and like it's a startling, like not comforting wake up. I hate it. Like I one of my biggest pet peeves, can't do it.
Okay. I like that one.
Hmm.
Um, my fourth one is people that repeat a joke without giving the credit. So it's so specific.
This
You
happens
ever
all
been in
this.
school
Okay.
or work or something, you
Hmm.
know, and like you might say something one on one to somebody and it's really funny, but you don't want to interrupt the main flow of the conversation. But that person will say it louder and get a great laugh from everybody and act like he was the one that thought of it.
Yeah.
I hate those people.
Okay. Okay. I respect that. I can
Yeah.
definitely get on board with that one. My last one, the number one thing I hate more than anything is small talk. If I can't
Okay.
have a conversation with you that is about something of substance, I because I'm a pretty good socially aware person. I think I have to be in like the job I do. Like I'm really good at networking, and so like I hide like social. I understand social cues very well. I will have to fake a lot of interest if it's someone that doesn't give me some sort of like interaction that I don't want to say respect, but like if it's a topic or something like that I don't care about, man, do I want to be anywhere but there.
Yeah,
Anywhere but
the
there.
guy that lives behind me does a lot of that small
You
talk,
you
and I
hate
hate it.
yeah,
And
and you
I
hated
hate
that.
it so much. I hate it so much. I want to have a conversation at some point, and just be like, "Hey, listen, I don't. Not that I don't like you, but can we come to an agreement? Like, we just shouldn't talk to each other ever." And like, I wonder what he would say. I don't have a problem. Like I don't like him, but it's not because of him. But like you can't say that.
No,
You
absolutely
know?
not. Yeah, you absolutely cannot say that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was 5,
Wait,
right?
I got one more
Oh,
here.
lay it on me. Lay
Yeah,
it on
that's
me.
5 for you. My wife does this very specific thing. All right,
Oh,
she'll
wife one. This
continue a
should be good.
yeah, she'll continue a conversation or say things to me. Either she's in another room or she's downstairs, or there's a loud noise on. Like if we have I'm taking a shower and the water's coming, and then I also have the vent on, like to do the air or whatever, and she'll talk and I can't hear her, right? But she'll just keep talking, and I don't know if she thinks I can hear her, but I can't. So very specific, but that's my final pet peeve.
Dude, my wife like has like that exactly. Like I like, dude, she'll be like saying something and I can't hear her, and I know if I say, "Hey, babe, what'd you say?" She'll get so mad that I didn't hear her. She'll lose her mind. So I'll
Yeah.
just not say anything, and then just guess what she said, and then I'll get
It's
yelled
dude,
at
I
if
don't
I
know what
get.
they think. I don't know what they're thinking. Like the one day I was like, yeah, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Like
See, like, okay, so like that doesn't bother me. I'm saying like, so like, my wife, that bothers her like a ton when you can't hear, like, so it's, I don't know, like it's wild. It's the exact same. It's funny. It's funny that you say that because I like
yeah,
my wife has the exact same thing.
I think it's a woman thing because a couple people
Maybe,
in the chat mentioned that. Yeah,
yeah, maybe. I don't know what it is, but all right.
yeah.
Well, another banger episode, if I do say so myself. Episode 31, guys. Make sure that you follow myself and Keso on stuff. Do you make YouTube videos anymore, bro?
No, I'm taking a break. There's a couple I might want to do over the summer.
Like it?
NHL 23, but
Yep.
you know what? I'm not full time, so I do what I
I
enjoy. I'm
love that.
retired.
I love that. I love that. Do it when you are enjoying it. All right, guys. That is going to do it for us, episode 31. We will see you next week. Have a good one, guys.